We were so happy together when we first met. Let's get started acting crazy. Oh baby, what's happening? On my level is what I'm doing. You won't stay where I'm at. Let me know. Baby, please don't call me when you lie. I wanna hear it. Now, but it's I'm sorry that you feel this way. I'm not the blame. Now that you know. I bet you keep on running and playing yourself again. Oh, you've been mistreated me. No, let's be lovers. But baby, please don't call me real. Mistreated me. Oh no, no, no. Let me know. Baby, please just stop calling me with your baby. Morning goes when you say that you want to leave me.
Welcome back to another episode of Guy Live B2B Jam Session on this lovely Friday morning. For some of you in New York, it's afternoon actually. In fact, our guest, I think he's still in New York. I don't know. A lot of people have moved during COVID times. But welcome back to another episode. Super excited for this Friday episode. This is often my favorite, time to actually record this podcast on Friday. It's a lazy afternoon, a lazy morning, hanging out with the people that I love most, the Guy community. And more importantly, want to give a shout out to Stephanie Lou, who just joined us on giving us happy Lunar New Year. Good morning from San Diego. Shout out to San Diego. Currently speaking and chatting with you all from Oakland. Actually going to be moving soon, but right now it's Oakland. Much love to the Oakland people in the building who are currently tuning in. It's Town Biz. We always have a lot of people from Oakland tuning in on Fridays, so show them some love in the comments. With that said, super excited about today's episode. It's going to be a, quick, short, bite size. You know how we do it at Guy Live with a former guest. We're actually bringing him back. Yeah, he's a former guest, and it's going to be exciting. Mr. Silver, Darrell Silver, used to be working with Thinkful, but he no longer works with Thinkful. Forever we love Thinkful. But he's doing something really, really cool now that I think you all need to hear about. And in fact, we brought him on so he can speak on it, right? And if you haven't heard of Thinkful, you need to check it out. He was his former co-founder and CEO of Thinkful. Amazing, amazing company in the e-learning space, acquired by Chegg, literally for a whole bunch of money. Can't even, it's so much that you have to look it up in the newspaper to check it out. That's a lot of money. But he changed the game in e-learning and alternative education. And now he's doing something different. And you're going to learn a little bit more about it on today's episode and see how you can support and follow the movement of what he's building. What he actually has on his LinkedIn is currently he's building a wood shop with his father, which is even cooler. But that's not the big thing that we're going to have him talk about on this episode. It's a little bit even cooler than that. But I love building a wood shop with my father, so that's just as cool as well. But if you have heard of Darrell before, show us some love. How did you find out about Mr. Silver? Did you check out our last episode with him? What did you love about it? Let us know. Give us a comment, because we have an archive of episodes, and Darrell is one of our special guests from last year's season. With that said, let's go ahead and bring him on to the show and show him some love. Darrell, how's it going, man?
Good. Thanks for that intro.
Oh, dude, thank you. I try to do my best with these intros off the cuff. How are you,
Seems
man?
super planned.
How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I am still in New York. We
Good.
left the city. It's hard to build a wood shop in the city. We're upstate, like Middletown, Orange County. It's called Mid-State, actually. Only 90 minutes north or 70 minutes north.
Well, have you always been building wood shops, or is this the first wood shop you've ever built?
No, definitely the first. And if I could give you a tour, it would go without saying it was first. This is like a room in the house, or a room in that has accumulated everything that I've ever, like all the toys from when you're a child, and like all the things that you grow out of or whatever, as well as whatever my father finds and puts in there. And so the beginning of this project was to bring 0.9 tons of stuff to the dump, clean out this space. I could just like show you the whole screen share. I could show you all the photos and stuff. I now know exactly how much it costs to bring debris versus tires versus batteries to the town dump, which I did not know before starting this project. And then you go from there to building like workbench and whatever. And then it turns out if you like spend a little time in woodworking communities, and Reddit is like awesome, you can find people that are selling old materials. Like you grow out of woodworking tools, you can find people that are selling the stuff that are good for beginners. So no, this is definitely the first time, and it's been a lot of fun. It's a great way to relax.
Yeah, it's like you're building another startup, man.
Not yet. No. Got some things to do before then.
Well, tell us a little bit about what you're working on now. I didn't want to spoil it for our amazing guests who are tuning in, but it's really, really cool. You are working on another unicorn, but it's not the familiar unicorn that people often assume with tech startups. Tell us a little bit about Free Code Camp.
Yeah, so Free Code Camp is the largest completely free way that people learn to become software engineers or just coders for their job in general. Started around the same time as we started Thinkful. We started Thinkful in 2012, and then I sold it obviously in 2019. But Free Code Camp started, I think, I was talking to Quincy, I think he started really in 2013. And his mission from the beginning was to expand access to phenomenal computer science education. And he grew it to 3,000 hours of curriculum, completely free. He's got users in every country and has been growing. The reason I call it a unicorn, it's the right phrase. It's like, you think of a unicorn as like a company that's reached $1 billion in value, but actually that's just not the only definition. The definition for a nonprofit in Free Code Camp, while completely free to its users, is also a nonprofit, meaning it raises money to serve its mission. It is a unicorn of a nonprofit. It had last year in 2020, 1.3 billion minutes of learning delivered for its users, majority in the US, but dramatic and huge overseas reach as well. And it continues to just grow 60% every year. Quincy made me say that it was 60%. It's actually in the early days higher than 60. Like in the first year, it was like 400%. But he was like, he's too honorable. He's never tried to raise, like he's 400% in the early years, but the baseline is so low. So 60%, he's going to keep growing it every year, which is faster than the rate that Wikipedia grew.
Wow.
And Wikipedia obviously sort of took over the internet, to continue using Quincy's word. So 1.3 billion minutes of learning every year in 2020, growing 60% a year, built completely for free. It's got a team a team of full-time people smaller than Instagram had when it was bought by Facebook for $1 billion. The team is only 12 people, tons of volunteers, and an enormously phenomenal community for new developers. But that is a unicorn, right? Just huge reach, massive growth, tiny team, tiny funding, completely nonprofit. The fact that there will never be some new autocrat because of Free Code Camp, but rather there will be millions of people that know how to code and will be software engineers, that's a unicorn. And so I called a unicorn, and the project is, and I'm sort of lucky enough to work with Quincy, who's just amazing. The project is he wants to expand the curriculum. He wants to basically almost double the curriculum. And the only way that Free Code Camp runs, and you have to interrupt me, I will talk for the whole time.
Keep talking, man. Go deep.
But the way that Free Code Camp operates is if you choose to do so, and about 7,000 people do this, you can give $5 a month, completely donation based. Like I said, nonprofit, 501c3. Most people don't give anything. Small number of people are fortunate enough to give $5 a month. That provides this incredibly good baseline on which they can grow the curriculum and grow the quality and keep growing reach. What it doesn't do is allow them to do something dramatic to have a step function change in their reach and their curriculum. And so at the end of last year, when Quincy was like, just a reminder, you can donate if you choose. You don't have to, but you can choose to donate $5 a month. I said, have you ever considered what you would do with more money? Wow. And he was like, absolutely. I wish we could do a much more advanced math and machine learning and data science curriculum. And I have a vision for, it's a short-term vision. I have a vision for, aside from just taking over Wikipedia, like being as big as Wikipedia, I have a vision for almost doubling the size of the curriculum. And I was like, what's that going to cost? How do you want to run it? And over the course of maybe 6 weeks, we came up with this plan for continuing the small dollar donations that make up the bulk of Free Code Camp's costs of revenue, and then I'll match up to 150,000. So we're raising $300,000. 150 is coming from the community. The other 150 will come from me. It's a phenomenal opportunity to create, to be part of creating an opportunity to make more really high growth, high income jobs around the world. It's a great group to meet with.
Yeah, that's the next level, and I think it kind of fits with your the work that you've been doing in the past with Thinkful and just your passion for alternative education. It's crazy because people pay an arm and a leg for going to college and $40K in total for your entire experience. But you could just go to Free Code Camp and learn how to be an engineer.
You can. Now, I don't want to. You can do that, and lots of people do that. I mean, there's millions of people who use Free Code Camp, and there's a lot that go all the way from beginner to curiosity spiking to becoming a software engineer. But it turns out when you talk to people who have been in this industry for a while, and Quincy is one of them, and if I can be so bold, like I've been working in what's called unaccredited adult education, or just like boot camps or coding education and software engineering education for like the better part of a decade now. It is rare that you go from not knowing how to code at all to software engineer alone. It's very rare you do it alone. Yeah. Most people there's despite Free Code Camp's reach, there's probably more people that get a job. I don't know for sure, but there's more people that get a job through a Thinkful than there are through a Free Code Camp. Now, the reason is not because I said that I'm not trying to sell anything anymore. The reason is Free Code Camp's job and its place in the world. And this is Quincy talking. Like, well, it's Quincy telling me what he thinks. Like, we want to move the most number of people as much as they want to be moved toward their learning goals. But we don't want to go through the massive overhead of coaching and curriculum and the mentoring required and the guarantees that you have to do if you're going to become what I think of as a full stack education, which is like a Thinkful. So Thinkful is great at taking you really, really deep. You're spending 20 hours a week minimum through to getting a job, but Free Code Camp is awesome at letting anybody have access to all of it for free. The combination of what you find, people get inspired by Free Code Camp, and they go a lot of way, and there's even more people who code for their job than there are coders. That's probably enough. A number of them also go to boot camps like a Thinkful. Wow. Boy, you just let me. You get me. Yes. One simple question, and I will.
You're getting started, man. You're getting
because both products work and they complement each other, and it's and there's a lot of room. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. What do you wish that people would realize more about companies and nonprofits like Free Code Camp who are really making education accessible to the masses and doing it just for a mission?
I think this is a question you asked. But one of the things I've noticed about nonprofits, I've talked to a lot of friends who are venture capitalists and entrepreneurs, and there's this weird misunderstanding of nonprofit. Basically, people think that if you're going to work at a nonprofit, you must not have been successful in the private sector. It's actually one of the most phenomenally misguided perceptions in the world. It's like I spent, when I wasn't working on this wood shop, I spent a bunch of time looking at nonprofits in sectors that I cared about and sectors that are basically in my community. And what you find is the motivations are different, but the talent is just as good or better. And I was reminded of Godfather 2, because in Godfather 2, in Godfather 2, when Michael Corleone goes to visit Havana, he sees police fighting rebels, and he says, the police are paid to do their job, and the rebels are not. And the guy is telling him, what does that mean to you? And he goes, well, it means that the rebels might win, because they're not doing it for money. They're doing it for the mission of it. And that's a much more all-encompassing existence. And so what you find in nonprofits is passion is far higher. And when you have someone as good as Quincy running it, you find that the focus can be just as good. And therefore, and when you combine those two, the impact can be even better. So it's the impact one can have at working with a nonprofit or donating to a nonprofit. Your dollars can go a lot further than in the private sector. A lot of the time it goes the other way too.
That's powerful, man. Darrell, thanks so much for going deep and sharing that with us. So tell us a little bit about, and shout out to Rubel and Chu, who's saying, wow, that analogy, love it, makes sense. She's supporting your mission, man. And she's really excited about this episode, by the way. Shout out to you, Rubel, for tuning in. Much love to you. Thank you for always being a part of our community, being so engaged. In addition, make sure you check out the former episode we did with Darrell last year, I believe, 2020, before the Thinkful acquisition. It's really great. A lot of jumps in that episode as well. Darrell, where can people find out more about Free Code Camp, donate, and be a part of what you're building?
So freecodecamp.org, and there's a donate link right on the bottom. There's also, if you just Google it, Free Code Camp fundraiser, you'll find it. If you go to my Twitter profile, twitter.com/Darrell Silver, you will also really quickly find the link to the deeper dive on the blog post from me and from Quincy, as well as a donate link. And every day you can track how close we're getting to that $150,000 goal, which will be doubled to $300,000. And it's, again, if you're in the world of thinking, if you're in the mindset of thinking, how do I help the most people reach their goals professionally, change their economics, reset their career, take a new step in their career, putting $5 or $50 or $5 a month or anything toward Free Code Camp is a phenomenal investment. And when you go to my Twitter profile, twitter.com/Darrell Silver, you can see the essay about exactly why I break down why when I did the research, it came out that Free Code Camp was a phenomenal place to invest toward an amazing social outcome.
Shout out to you for joining Quincy and leading this mission with the Free Code Camp team. And, thank you for all the work you do just for educators all over the world, man.
The easy part.
Yeah, we never got a chance to wish you congrats on the Thinkful acquisition. Congratulations on that as well.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you coming on again to be a guest. If you want to learn more about Darrell and all of his amazing adventures, whether it be building wood cabins with his father or working with Free Code Camp, make sure to follow him on LinkedIn and Twitter as well, and sign up for his newsletter. He's pretty active with just kind of keeping us up to date on his journey. With that said, Darrell, thanks so much for joining us, man. Please, we're going to hold you accountable, man. In the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to keep track. Did freecodecamp.org achieve this goal, and what did Darrell put in? Right, we're hoping that you put in exactly what you said you're going to.
Yeah. Well, that's the easy part. I thought you were going to say, show photos of what you're building. I was freaking out for a second.
Oh, not yet, man. Not yet. Maybe on another episode, man. Appreciate you, man. All right, man. Talk soon, Darrell.
Thank you very much.
Shout out to Darrell Silver for joining us on today's episode. And I know some of you are like, Tim, we can't see you. I know. There's been some issues, technical difficulties with my camera. So you're just going to have to settle for a nice picture of my profile, which is, I guess, okay if you appreciate it. With that said, shout out to Darrell for joining us for today's episode. But wait, that's not all. We actually have another episode coming back on in a few minutes. Well, not in a few minutes, but in like 30 minutes. Which is going to be around 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for some of you, which will be definitely around the afternoon. And it's with another special guest. I'm not going to tell you who because it's always a surprise. But it's going to be bite-sized as well. with that said, make sure to copy you some tea. BigBlackTea.com. Yo, we have our new inventory batch coming in. You know, we've had a lot of customers reaching out to us and they were like, Tim, where's our tea? Where's my tea? I ordered like months ago. Sorry about that, customers. Sorry about that, community. You know, we're a startup. We're a scrappy startup, small to medium business, similar to any, and we're growing. We're learning with you all, and there's been some inventory delay. So make sure that you copy your tea now, because within a week the inventory is actually getting here, and we're going to be shipping and deploying to all of our amazing customers who have been supporting us in this movement. You know, we're learning and growing. We're learning and growing with you all. So please do not be mad if you have not gotten your tea yet. Don't be mad. It's coming. It's coming hot. We're doing our best, and we hope that you have some kindness and be patient with us. It's coming. It's coming, y'all. With that said, y'all, shout out to everyone that has been supporting our movement and introducing us to guests for the show. Once again, if you want to be on the show, utfow.com. utfow.com. I read my emails literally by myself in my own room. We check to see who could be the next big thing, a big person to be on the show. We want to show you love. We want to put you on God Live. Our platform is your platform. And lastly, if you are the next big creator and you want to create educational content, guideapp.co. Guideapp.co. We're currently working on our website refresh and brand refresh, but we're always building our wait list of creators, and we're onboarding them gradually and slowly as we build and expand into a public beta. So make sure you check out guideapp.co, or guidegroup.com, and sign up to be the next big guide creator. All right, y'all. Talk to y'all soon. But with that said, don't want to leave y'all cold. I'm going to play something smooth for y'all. And I think you all know who this lady is. The great Shaka Khan. All right.
Let me really dissolve. I want to be Shaka Khan. Let me rock Shaka Khan. Let me really let it feel for you. Shaka Khan, what you want to do? Do you feel for me? Let me feel for you. Shaka Khan, let me tell you what I want to do. I want to